Do you know why almost every country buys oil in US dollars?
Because America said so?
Sort of, but it's deeper, way deeper. And once you see what's really going on, the way you look at global power will never be the same.
All right, I'm all ears. What's the deal with oil and dollars? Why not just buy oil with your own currency?
Because you can't. That's the point. Since the 1970s, the global oil trade has been dominated by one rule. Oil is sold almost exclusively in US dollars. It's not a law written down anywhere, but it's enforced in a, let's say, very convincing way.
Convincing like a nice handshake? Or convincing like the CIA?
Exactly. Okay, here's the story. In 1971, the US did something bold. It abandoned the gold standard. For that, every dollar was backed by gold. But America was printing too many dollars, and it didn't have enough gold to back them. So President Nixon said, screw it, no more gold. The dollar floats now.
Wait, so the dollar became just paper?
Yep, suddenly, countries around the world were holding stacks of green paper that were no longer tied to anything valuable. Confidence in the US dollar started to crumble, inflation spiked, people panicked.
So what did they do?
They made a genius move. In 1974, the US made a secret deal with Saudi Arabia in exchange for military protection and weapons. The Saudis agreed to sell all their oil exclusively in US dollars and convince other OPEC countries to do the same.
Wait, that's it? They just said, we'll protect you. Just make everyone use our money?
Pretty much. And just like that, the petrodollar system was born.
Okay, but why does it matter if oil is sold in dollars?
Because every country needs oil. And if you want oil, you need dollars. That means every country, from France to India to Brazil, needs to hold reserves of US dollars to buy oil.
So the US can just keep printing dollars and the world keeps needing them?
Bingo, that's what's wild. The US doesn't need to export as much as it imports. It can run huge trade deficits and still have global demand for its currency.
It's like America turned oil into a subscription service for the dollar. So what does America get out of this?
Everything. Here's what the US gains from the petrodollar system. Endless demand for its currency keeps. The dollar's strong, even when debt rises. Ability to print money cheaply, other countries borrow in dollars. Us can just print them. Power over international finance, US can sanction countries by cutting them. It's off from dollar-based trade. Low interest rates at home, because foreigners buy US bonds to store their dollars.
So it's like the dollar is on God mode.
Exactly. It's a cheat code built into the global economy.
Okay, but what's the catch? This feels too convenient.
Right. Here's the problem. The petrodollar system depends on two things. Countries staying obedient and trading oil in dollars. America maintaining its dominance politically, economically, and militarily.
What if countries stop playing along?
That's where it gets spicy. Some countries don't like being chained to the dollar. Over the years, a few tried to break free. Iraq 2000, Saddam Hussein started selling oil in euros. Libya 2011, Gaddafi proposed a gold-backed African currency. Iran has pushed for oil sales in other currencies for years. Russia and China now trade oil in rubles and yuan.
But wait, if more countries are trading in other currencies, is the petrodollar system collapsing?
It's definitely shaking right now. China is buying oil from Saudi Arabia in yuan. India is making deals to use rupees. BRICS nations are talking about a new currency to replace the dollar.
And the US isn't too happy about that, I'm guessing.
Nope, because if the petrodollar dies, so does a big chunk of US financial power. Here's the part no one talks about. Petrodollar comes with side effects, not just for other countries, but for Americans too. It fuels military interventions, protecting. Dollar dominance often means destabilizing regions. It props up Wall Street because of foreign investment in US markets. It increases inequality. Cheap money benefits asset holders, not wage earners. It delays economic reform. Why fix a system when you've got a global cheat code?
So while Americans get cheaper loans, the rest of the world gets economic colonialism?
Pretty much. The petrodollar is kind of like duct tape holding a shaky empire together.
Okay, worst case, everyone drops the dollar. What happens?
Massive drop in dollar demand. Hyperinflation in the US, skyrocketing interest rates. Collapse of the bond market. Major recession or depression.
So basically economic.
Yeah, and that's why the US fights tooth and nail to protect this system. But it's already changing and we're already seeing the cracks. US debt is at $34 trillion. Trust. And the dollar is declining. Countries are diversifying their reserves. Gold. Purchases by central banks are rising. Digital currencies like China's ECNY are spreading.
So we're in the final season of the petrodollar empire?
Possibly. Or at least the beginning of the end. But remember, systems don't die overnight. They erode slowly, and then all at once. Here are some signs that the petrodollar system is in real trouble. Major: oil-producing nations dumping the dollar, central banks openly shifting to gold or other currencies, a global commodity-backed currency gaining traction, U.S. losing control over SWIFT and IMF influence.
And if all that happens,
then the dollar becomes just another currency. No more cheat codes, no more free rides.
All right, let me see if I got this straight. The U.S. made a deal with oil producers to sell in dollars. That made everyone need dollars to get oil. The U.S. got massive benefits: power, control, low debt costs. But now countries are rebelling, and the dollar's supremacy is at risk.
Nailed it. In the future, it depends on how fast the rest of the world learns to live without the dollar, and whether the U.S. lets them.
So basically, the petrodollar was the glue holding together the global economy, and now it's starting to melt.
Exactly. Welcome to the Endgame.